Officially breaking ground back here. The gas utility's on site and they're moving that gas line that we talked about earlier that went right through the middle of our property. Just got the excavator dropped off. We paid about $1,000 to have this thing for the weekend. That's delivered. We're gonna cut our pad, cut down about 22 inches. We're gonna build up from there with a crawl space foundation, and really excited to share this Middle Housing Land Division where we're gonna build out our signature barn cabin ADU. There are no stupid questions. Please leave any question you might have in the comments. You can send us an email, you can send us a DM, send us a carrier pigeon. This series is all about helping you build housing. As we prepare to cut this pad, it's imperative that we start with a parallel line. When this job is done and we get an aerial picture from the county or any future Google images, we want our building to be parallel to the lot lines or perpendicular to the street frontage. Something we got to get picky about. This is a 22 by 30 foot building footprint. So on each corner, we've driven in a stake, and then we went ahead and wrapped the whole perimeter with string, and then we measure it to confirm that we're square. We do a diagonal corner to corner, and we creep the corners in until that number matches. Now that we have our building footprint mapped out, I'm gonna go around with a can of upside down fluorescent paint, and I'm gonna paint a line 2 feet wider than our actual footprint, and that's gonna be our dig map. We'll be able to dig right up to that line. To figure out how deep you have to go, you have to know what kind of floor system you're gonna use. Here we're using a crawl space foundation, and the code, the minimum distance between the bottom of your framing members and the ground is 18 inches. So we use those numbers to determine how deep we have to cut. If you're gonna overcut and backfill with rock, you'd have to accommodate for that. This is good native decomposed granite soil. We're really thankful to not have to haul in a bunch of rock to build on. So that's how we map out our pad. Take the time to make sure that it's square, that it's parallel. You only get one chance to cut the pad and put the foundation in the right spot. So we have our pad all ready to cut, but first I wanted to connect our water lines. So we've got a trench here that leads out to the front of the property. Now we're just gonna backfill this water line. Now that we've got it done, it's decomposed granite. That's a great pipe bedding material. Get the sod out of the way. We don't want the spoils in the hole if we can help it. Now we're going through and we're checking grade. So we have our laser set up in the corner, and the difference in elevation will be caught by this laser beam. So this is our lowest part of the whole grade. Our cut here is like 23 inches deep, and using this grade stick and the laser, we're able to level the whole pad. A lot of times we would use rock. We would bring some rock in and compact it, but this is such good soil that we're going to just put our form boards right down on this and build. If I don't hear it beeping and I have to lean it over, I know I'm high, so I can kick this dirt down a little bit. So I know I've got to take about 6 inches out of this section here. All my perimeters where the footing boards are going are perfect. So that's how we check grade. So driving in here, I can grab these couple little high spots that I had and just grade out. We use our blade here to center or level our bucket out there. That's what's gonna set us up for a nice level cut. Just a nice little feather. We've got Martin here from Lalo Pipeline Vents sent us out a truck this morning. We pay about $175 an hour for the truck, for the labor, for the fuel, and then I'm gonna load them out with this Yanmar 5500. So obviously this is not my first trade I learned, but you can save thousands and thousands of dollars if you do your own excavation work. I should have a bigger machine here, but this is what we got. Pick it up to truck height, shake it out, and load them on out. It's always a wonderful day on the job site when Pat graces us with his presence. If you follow our content, you know Pat well by now, doing concrete for 40-something years. Every job we do together
is a pain in the ass.
is a pain in the ass. I met him in 1996. He was an ornery concrete guy back then. That was almost 30 years ago. You hear me talk about this often. This is a relationship business. Really lucky to have these guys today. We're gonna form this up. We've got an inspection at 11, and then we've got concrete coming today at 1:30. So it's pretty much a one-day job on a small foundation like this. We're gonna pour it, we're gonna let it set overnight, and then we'll strip it tomorrow, and I'll backfill and get that machine out of here. I'll walk you guys around and talk a little bit about the details of the footing and the stem wall, our venting, our drainage, all the things you need to keep in mind when you're designing and building the foundation system for your ADU. A footing for a one-story building, minimum thickness is 6 inches, minimum width is 12 inches. We go a little bit wider. So this is a 16-inch wide footing, and it's going to be 7 inches deep. That would be suitable for a 2-story. Again, this is only a 1-story ADU, but we like to build a little bit over the standard. It's the same amount of labor, just a little bit more concrete. This is our panel system that we use for our stem walls. And what we have are these clips. We set these clips straddling across our 2 form boards, and then these clips get screwed in, and what they do is they hold these 1.1/8" panels that are going to make up the form boards for our stem walls. Pretty basic stuff here. There's a lot of parts, but it's simple. You know, the one reason we sub out our footings and stem walls, not only do we love Pat, but because it's really hard to store all this material. You know, you got to have hundreds of stakes, hundreds of feet of form board. You've got to have dozens and dozens of these big panels. These are some footing drains. So on the low side of our house pad, we have these 3-inch pipes that are set up for drainage. Over here, Pat is keeping the rebar up. We've got to have it a couple inches off the ground. He ties it to the clips with some rebar wire. It's all about having the right equipment, the right instruction, and the right mindset. We're paying about $50 a linear foot for foundation work. So this 22 by 24 foundation, probably gonna cost us about $5 grand out the door. That's labor, material, concrete, pump. We've got the full crew here. The pump is on site. The truck just showed up. We're using the hose to fill up our footings and to fill up our stem walls. They're paying particular attention right now to making sure that we pack underneath our vents, and we're using a vibratory tool to make sure all the concrete settles down into the bottom of the forms. We don't want any voids. We don't want any hollow spots. Those are some things we have to watch out for when we're doing a monolithic pour. A monolithic means we're doing it in one shot as opposed to just pouring the footing and then coming back and pouring the stem wall. So the pump guy's in charge. He's got a control on his hip, and he's dictating how much concrete's coming out and when. We've got our forms all filled up. Dave's over there troweling out that nice little center runner. The flatter we get the surface, the better contact we're gonna have between our bottom plate and our concrete foundation. Always takes a little bit more time to do the job right, but we'll have a lot less prep when it comes time to do the underfloor framing. Here's our UFER. This is the 20-foot piece of rebar that we have to tie our electrical panel ground to. Anytime you see one of these sticking up, that's what it is. The panel's coming off. Got a nice smooth surface. Our vents turned out good. We don't have any voids. Here is the crawl space access for under the house. We like to put this in the exterior stem wall as opposed to a hatch inside the house for numerous reasons, but mostly for a more sanitary entry and exit under the house for repairs and maintenance and whatnot. Forward to the end, I've got the whole exterior of this foundation stripped, and now I can backfill. I'll do the interior stripping later. I'm up against time crunch on getting the excavator back. Great workout. Everything in concrete is like dusty and heavy and sharp. Definitely hard work. Here's all of our exterior walls that have been stripped. The forms are off the bottom, the 2x6s. All of our panels are off. We've got nice smooth walls, no voids. And now we can backfill this whole thing. I'm gonna backfill this area with crushed rock, and this area as well with crushed rock, because we're gonna have vehicle traffic on this side, and then over here we're going to have a patio, a concrete slab patio. We don't ever want to pour on native, especially loose native if we can help it. All this loose native here is going to go on the back side where we can plant a nice strip, and then the rest of the native will be backfilled here. This will be the backyard. We'll plant this with grass. Pat was going around the whole foundation right now with the diamond grinder and knocking down the top edge. When we trowel it in, it's kind of rough, and he'll smooth it out so we'll get a good surface area contact between the bottom plate and the foundation wall. So now we're doing an official signature on our Mylar. This is gonna go to the county, it's gonna go to the assessor's office, and it will get recorded, and then we'll have legal lots of record making multiple parcels. Definitely a long-awaited process. We're glad to have it done. Thanks for your help.
Absolutely.
We are really excited to finally be getting this Middle Housing Land Division signed and done. What I have here is the Mylar copy. We have to sign it with a special pen. We're gonna wait for the city planner to sign it, and then we're gonna take it back to the county. Once it's at the county, it's gonna go to the assessor's office and also up to the county surveyor, and they will sign it in that office, and then after that, it gets recorded. Once it's recorded, the lot will be legally released, so we can put different parts of financing on the two different legal lots of record. It's taken us almost 90 days to get through this process, and that's with me being a squeaky wheel and checking on the surveyor, checking on the city, checking on our buffering and our requirements. So it's been a ton of work over the last 3 months to get this done. We're really excited to have it here at the City of Ashland. The staff here has been absolutely amazing. There's really a lot of value in a city that has standards and follows them. So that's the next step here. We'll let you know where it goes next. If you enjoyed this video, the best thank you you can give a YouTube creator is a like and a subscribe. Thanks for your time, folks.